Good morning, good morning. So, today I'm going to be talking about why people, young people specifically, like myself, in their early 20s, if even late teens, stay broke and confused. Because, honestly, the biggest thing for me going from building something to I'm still in the process of building my own business and that sort of stuff. So I kind of understand what was the process of going from nothing to something, but at the same time not having achieved it yet. Basically I'm kind of at the point where I have achieved a lot of things, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So I kind of wanted to share on that point a bit of my perspective so that you guys can maybe get some ideas, maybe get some direction on why, how, what could you do, get a different perspective, that kind of stuff. So why do most guys stay broke and confused? Well, the number one thing that I was mentioning in yesterday's video was most people don't actually take the time to stop consuming stuff. And for instance, most people you can see when you walk down the street, down there, people have their headphones in, or they have their earbuds in, or they are listening to this music or podcast or audio book or whatever. They go to work, they do all of their work, and then they get home, and then they put on an audio book and they listen to something while they're doing something else, or even when they're eating food, they scroll on TikTok or whatever, or fucking Instagram. It doesn't really matter. And it really is just the dopamine epidemic. Honestly, if you never take the time to think through what it is you actually want, and think through, let your brain just think and process stuff, you're never really going to be authentic or unique or original or anything significant. Because most people, since they're just constantly stuck in this loop of consuming stuff, what ends up happening is they stay confused about what they want because they never think about it. And they're like, wow, I'm supposed to be so much more, I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z, and then they just go back to consuming. So, and that's the same thing regardless of if you're talking about life purpose or business or money or career or anything. Literally everything is the same. So my take is if you actually want to stop being broke and you actually want to stop being confused, you need to take a moment and pause. Delete everything that is distracting. Delete everything that you are consuming for a short period of time, even if it's just taking a 20-minute, 30-minute walk on a daily basis and just thinking through things. You couldn't understand if you never really done it on a regular basis. If you go for a walk, or if you just sit outside in the park on the bench and just think for a bit, and just you've got nothing to do. You might have a bunch of stuff that you're thinking about, but that's nice. That's what you need to do more of. You need to let your brain breathe. You need to let your brain stop consuming, so that way you're actually let it process. This is actually this process that happens when you're not consuming anything in your brain, and it's basically digesting everything that has been going on in your life, like currently, and that's how your creative process gets much better, much more efficient. And that's what I've noticed personally, in regardless of what it is, in work, or if I'm like, oh, I need to find what could I do to make this better, what can I do to make this differently, or how could I do this more efficiently, and just thinking about it and not being distracted by anything else, and just letting my brain just think. Even having a piece of paper and writing stuff down usually helps a lot, or a whiteboard. Personally, that helps. You'll get to a point where like your thoughts are more connected and more like they're firing much faster, and they're like, oh yeah, can do this, get this thought, got an idea over here, an idea over here, and then it's just like boom, 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 and you can realistically put everything together. Number one, stop being confused and stop like not knowing what you actually want to do, and number two, you can actually create a plan so you don't just stay useless and feel useless to the people around you. Like that specifically has been one of the biggest things I've been thinking about, is that most men, what they want is they just want respect from others. They just want recognition. They just want to be a part of a community. They just want to build a family and a legacy. And even if that's not necessarily for you, it is what most people want. So I'm starting to think, once you hit that stage of, okay, you have all of this time, you're thinking, you've got a bunch of stuff, you might have a job, you might go to school, you might go to university, you might study in this field that you don't really care about, and you're doing all of this because it's demanded, it's necessary, right? Like in today's society, if you don't have a job, you're not making any money. If you're not making any money, you basically can't do anything. You basically can't do anything because like you're either leeching off someone else, even if they're helping you out, you're still leeching off of them, which is fucking annoying. When you're in that position, it feels like shit. And or you're providing for other people, or you're providing just bare minimum for yourself. And if you get to the point where you've got enough time, you've got like bonus time, you find yourself like, okay, I'm reorganizing my time, I'm taking control of my time, I know what I'm doing at what time, I'm sleeping from this time to this time, and I'm going to take hold of everything, and I'm going to take accountability to actually stop being broke and actually take control of my life so that I can actually do what I want to do. I got to that point myself where I was like, okay, I know I can do so much more than I am doing right now. At this point, I was still studying in this private university I was paying for, and I was just like, this is absolutely not what I want to do. I do not see myself having a job. I do not see myself in this industry whatsoever. And what I started noticing was like, okay, I'll take a look at all of my options, and there's actually a key factor that kept popping up, which was I need to become more valuable. I need to be able to provide more value to the people I'm actually working with, and not necessarily just providing a commodity. Like, sure, you might provide, who knows, toilet paper or concrete or fucking, I don't know, gold or precious minerals to build a fucking motherboard for a computer. Who cares, you know? That kind of value is a commodity, but it is still more valuable than just like, let's say, some inefficient, useless product that everybody doesn't really need to survive. Like, for instance, when I'm talking about providing value, it means like actually thinking like, okay, how can you help people? How can you provide a product or a service to someone so that their life is better thanks to that? Like, I started learning human psychology and marketing and business and sales and all that kind of stuff recently, over the course of the past few years, and yes, it has taught me a lot, but the key factor was not just making more money. It was, or even like, sure, I didn't want to be broke anymore, but the key factor was providing more value and understanding like, how can I become a more productive human, more efficient, more helpful, more just provide more value basically. And there's a few things you can do for that. Number one, you can improve your skills, because like, if you improve your skills, you'll always have a positive ROI on yourself. Like, if you increase your physicality, you go to the gym every day, you build your body, and you improve your skills. Like, let's say it's you want to be the best guy at creating websites, then you should spend like 3/4 of your time, like most of your time, like 75% of your time, just improving your skills. Even if it's working on someone else, or working on their project, or working on literally anything. If you're constantly improving your skills, you will always have a positive outcome, which will result in more money. Because like, the more valuable you become, the more money you make. It's as simple as that. It's either you become more valuable, or you go the opposite route, which is stealing and robbing people and doing all that bad stuff. So, and I don't recommend you do that, all right? You really have to pick and choose for yourself, like, okay, who it is that I actually am, and what can I pick, and what am I going to pick that will create the life I want to have. And personally, it was becoming a more valuable person. So yes, I learned marketing, I learned sales, I learned business, human psychology, that kind of stuff. So that way I knew how to control all of my elements in my own realm. Like, okay, I'm gonna create my own business, I'm gonna have this kind of person achieve this outcome, because they might not be able to do, let's say I'm talking about car detailers, random niche. Talking about car detailers, so people who clean cars, make cars look fucking nice, take care of cars, make sure they're maintained and they look good, they're protected against the elements, they're not getting degraded, they're not getting by the rain or a storm or whatever, that kind of stuff, or a snow, blizzard, whatever. Let's say you take that kind of niche, and most of them know how to perform their job to protect and provide for that car specifically. Like, if it's paint protection film, if it's ceramic coating, if it's window tinting, anything that a guy wants for their car, they can provide that. But they don't necessarily know how to run paid advertisement, they don't necessarily know how to market themselves online so that they can provide to more people and communicate to them that they are a good pick, they are a good option to provide that service, and they should trust them instead of someone else. That is a very important part, and if you can connect yourself to, because like I know ceramic coating has high ticket offers, like let's say it's a couple $1,000 to ceramic coat your car, or tint your windows. It's a couple thousand, a couple $100. So if you get a couple customers with that, you start stacking money pretty quickly as a car detailer. So if you can help a car detailer or any of another niche that makes a lot of money per person, per customer, if you can attach yourself to them and help them make more money, then you will get paid more as a result, because you're providing value to them, and you will be able to, and it's not even leeching at this point, it's actually helping. You're actually providing more value. You're providing, let's say, it's kind of like an exchange as back in the day. Like if, let's say, there are two traders, one is selling sheep and the other one is selling cows. Well, the guy selling sheep might not need the sheep because he has a bunch of them, so that's why he's selling it. And the one who has the cows has a bunch of cows, so he doesn't really need more cows, so that's why he's selling it, because for him the value of a cow is lower than, for let's say, the value of a sheep, because he doesn't have any. So he'll exchange the cow in exchange for a sheep, because both of these people, they are willing to give up what they have, because they know, in this case, I have a bunch of this, I don't really need everything, so my personal value that I attach to that thing, in this case the cow or the sheep, is lower than the one the other person has, because I want the sheep, I see the value of the sheep has higher and the value of my stuff is lower, so I'm going to get rid of my stuff, and in exchange I'm gonna sell the cow for the sheep in exchange. And this is the same thing with literally any product on the planet, and the same thing with money, because money is basically just a value that you put on top of something, and which is, well, first off, money is just energy and time of other people condensed into a unit, and it is a unit that is helpful to put value on top of something, so that you know exactly how much it's worth. So I'm not really gonna dive too deeper into money, but basically, if you can provide more value to someone, you will never stay broke. You will never be confused again, because you'll have a purpose at this point. You'll be able to pick, like, okay, I'm helping these people, I know exactly what I need to do, I can improve my skills to achieve that, I know for certain that I can aim for this goal over here, and then from there you can just do whatever you want. Provide any kind of value, pick whoever you want to help. There's a lot of people surfing on the lines of good and bad in terms of providing value, but I believe it's important to provide it in a moral and ethical way. Like, I think it's important for you to think like, okay, I'm not just doing it for the money, I'm doing it so that I can actually give back to society and actually provide value to other people, instead of leeching off other people's lives and being a liberal capitalist. Because, like, the thing is, you either have to pick, like, either you're a good person but then you get less money, you provide a bunch of value but you get less money, or you provide the same amount of value but you get more money in exchange, which means you're actually not doing something favorable for the other person. So, like, let's say you're selling an apple for $2, or let's say $1 in this case, and you've got 5 different people that you're picking from that all want the apple, but they don't have the same amount of money. So one of them, like let's say there's 5 people. One of them has $0. One of them has $1. 2 of them have $2, and one of them has $5. The one with the $5 has more buying power than the other people. So now you have to make a choice. Are you going to provide that apple, or are you going to exchange it in exchange for just $1, like you said? Or are you going to give it to the guy who has $5 in exchange for his $5, which in this case, you're auctioning off the apple. But in the same way, you're getting more value than the apple's worth. So like, let's say in this case, you exchange the apple for $5. And the other people are like, why the fuck did you said it was only $1, da, da, da. In this case, the decision lies within you to pick what it is you actually want your morals, your ethics to fit in with. So I don't really want to deviate too much from the from the point, but what I'm trying to say, I think, is you need to be able to provide value to other people, and that decision is entirely up to you. Now, if you don't want to provide value to other people and you just want to be your own person, you don't really care about others, then that's fine. Just live your life, have fun, do whatever you want. I think everybody should be able to make a decision and choose what they want to do and who they want to become. And if you want to scam people online and be a terrible human, then that's your choice, bro. Like, if you actually want to provide value and help others, then I can tell you, like, personally, I've made that choice, and it's been incredibly gratifying even from other people. They're just telling me like, oh yeah, it's been amazing. Basile has helped me out so much, just to understand how to improve myself, how to become more valuable, how to he's provided, let's take an example. I helped this barber recently get more clients by improving the communication online between him, his brand, and new customers looking for a barber in the city. So in this case, he was like, yeah, it's great working with Basile because he provides the value and then he lets the numbers do the talking. So it actually makes sense to invest into Basile because he provides a lot of value, and I feel like it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile getting more customers. I can help more people because more people want to get haircut. I can provide them with a higher quality service than most people. So the fact that Basile is helping me get more clients is extremely helpful, first for me because I'm making more money and I can pay my employees more, and also because I'm helping all of these people achieve what they want. They want a haircut, they want to feel clean, they want to come in a great atmosphere and obtain this service, and everybody's lives just feels better. And when you're providing value, and you're providing so much value that they feel like they're robbing you of some part of the value equation. Like, let's say somebody pays me $1,000 and gets $10,000 in exchange. They're gonna be like, damn, I made 10 grand by paying 1 grand. This it's like a machine. You put 1 grand in and you get 10 grand out. You're like, damn, this is a pretty good machine, right? So obviously when you get to that point, you're like, you have the power in that equation. You have the power in that relationship to choose how you go about things. You could increase the price. You can say like, okay, well, I see that you're making 10 grand out by me but you put 1 grand into, I'm the machine in this case. You put 1 grand in and 10 grand comes out for you. So basically you're making 9 grand profit. In this case, I'm worth the machine 9 grand for you. So if I'm worth more, then I want to charge you more, because I know that if you put more money into the machine, you're going to get more money out. So like, let's say in this case, they put 2 grand instead of 1. And then instead of getting 10 grand, they get 20 grand. In this case, they're going to be even more happy, you know? You know what I mean? So like, in this case, if you can provide as much value as you can for as little price as you can, people will always gravitate towards you, because being around you and you being the provider of value is one of the most important things that you can actually become in this modern age. Because like, everybody's just doing a job, everybody's just doing X, Y, and Z. They don't really care about the outcome. But when you start caring about the outcome, everything changes. Everything changes when you start caring about the outcome, because you can actually dictate everything, control everything, and improve people's lives within the world that you are affecting. In this case, I was helping the barber. Instead of making, on average, let's say he was making, on a really bad month, he was making 55 grand a month. And on a really good month, he was making 70 grand, if not more. And I helped him push him up to 80 grand. So like, let's say basically, on average, instead of making 65, he was making 75 grand. So he gained an extra 10 grand just by me helping him out with my skills that I learned. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about people thinking like, oh, I don't want to be broke. What can I do? I'm confused about like which path to pick. Just pick one and just go for it and just test it. And if it's not for you, you'll feel it, and then you'll just pick something else. Just do something else. The secret, there's no secret. There's no shortcut. But the one thing I recommend people do the most is just take more action quicker. Taking more action quicker will always result in better results for everybody involved. That's the best thing about it. It's like, if you work faster, if you work harder, if you put more time in, more people will be happier at the end of the day. And that includes you. That includes yourself. Like, if you can get paid more simply by the fact that you know you're providing good value, great value to other people, you're going to feel great about doing the work, and you're not even going to feel like it's work anymore. You're going to be like, this is actually my life's purpose. This is actually super fucking easy. And I could do this forever. You could basically turn your own life into a video game at this point, because like you're basically providing value to other people in exchange for money, which is everything basically that in the education system they don't teach you this. They teach you to go get a job, and they teach you to check boxes. Now, that's the first thing I needed to learn once I switched my mind from going from having a job to having my own business. The most important thing you need to keep in mind is results. That's the most important thing, and that means you don't necessarily need to check boxes or put in more time. You need to look at the results and what do you need to do in order to achieve those results, and do that more. Because if you always think about the results and you're always putting more time in, you'll always get more out of it. So let's say we're going to summarize this a bit more, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Because I did talk for 30 minutes. So if you don't want to be broke and you don't want to be confused about where you are right now and you feel like it's fucking annoying and you don't really know what to do and what to pick and how to become your best self, you just need to start. You just need to start somewhere and just keep going. Just keep going, keep doing stuff, keep attacking over and over and over until you actually start to see results. And as soon as you do something, look at it, analyze it, say, did I do a good job? How can I do this better? And if you fail, how can I do this better? How can I actually not fail? And do that over and over and over again until you actually get what you want. And so the most important thing, if you don't want to be broke ever again, is to increase your value as a person. You need to become more skilled. You need to know more things. You need to have more experience, practically and theoretically. You need to become the type of person people depend on. People actually want to be around. People actually want to talk to you. And that way you won't really be confused anymore because you won't even have the time to be confused. So what I'm trying to say is you should become more valuable by learning a bunch of things, putting them into practice, and providing value to others. And you should spend more time thinking about how you can do a better job, what can you do better, and without consuming a bunch of content. And instead, after this video, instead of going through another video, if you went through this entire video of listening to me rant for all this time, don't just go see another video. Take some time and think about where you are right now and how you can do a better job. It doesn't matter if you're at the start of your journey, in the middle of your journey, if you think it's all over and you don't fucking know what to do, you can still start somewhere. So keep that in mind, and with that out of the way, I wish you the best. You're having a great day. It's a beautiful day here in Auckland, New Zealand. It's fucking, the sky's blue. It's great. It feels amazing. The sun's shining. So I hope you're gonna have a great day, because the sun will always rise, as they say. And yeah, if you like this kind of content, just like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm always happy to read and have conversations with literally everybody in there. If you need help, feel free to ask. I'm willing to give my personal takes on literally anything you need help with. And with that, have a great day, and I'll see you around.